All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and kick it off. Thank you all for being here and welcome to the Application 101. This is our second session presenting this information, but I'm glad that you all are here and are interested in the Activate Fellowship. So we're going to be going over four things and then hold some space for Q&A at the very end of this session. Feel free to put any questions you have in the chat or in the Q&A feature. Our lovely recruitment team will help answer those questions while I'm talking, and we can also answer those live at the very end. I'll introduce myself before going into more detail. I'm Tyler Volpe. I am the Fellowship Operations Associate here at Activate. I work behind the scenes on selection, and so I design the pipeline and tools that our lovely community members use to select all of our applicants. First thing I'd like to talk about is our timeline. So currently applications are open. They're open from September 9th to October 28th. We're accepting applications during that period. If you applied in the past, you may remember that we had an initial deadline and a final deadline. Note there is no initial deadline this year. There's only going to be a final deadline. Apologies. Can everyone see my screen? We good? Okay. One moment. Okay, thank you guys. Sorry, my computer is glitching out. Okay. To be eligible, okay, apologies. From October to December, we will be conducting our internal and external review, where we're going to review our candidates and send those out to external reviewers. From January to February, we will be conducting video interviews. So if you move on from the internal review process, go ahead and log into SMA to see your status, and we will reach out for a video interview. Mark your calendars for March 9th through the 13th. That's when Activate will be hosting our finalist week. During finalist week, we will have our accepted applicants present their applications to a panel of experts. And after finalist week, we have our final review stage where our committees will select the fellows, do sponsor matching, and offer fellowships to those who are going to be offered. The fellowship officially starts in June of 2026. So if you have any pre-existing obligations, if you are working full-time and you are offered the fellowship, make sure that you're available in June to begin full-time. Next, let's talk about eligibility requirements. So to be eligible for the fellowship, you must have a bachelor's degree and 4+ years of post-baccalaureate scientific research, engineering, or technology development experience. You must also be leading the commercial development of a hardware-based technology innovation for the first time. You cannot be a repeat hard tech founder. As I've already mentioned, you need to be committed full-time to the proposed project or company if awarded the fellowship, and you must legally be able to work in the US for the duration of the fellowship. Finally, you must be able to communicate proficiently in English. That's for the applicant. For the proposed project or company, you must be based in the physical or biological sciences or a related engineering discipline. Your technology or company must still be in development and not yet ready for full-scale product sales at the time of the application deadline. And you must have not raised more than $2 million in debt or equity funding from non-governmental sources at the time of the application deadline. What's not required? Any previous experience as an entrepreneur. You don't have to have a PhD to be an Activate Fellow, and you don't have to have a degree from an Ivy League or a top-ranked university. You don't have to be currently based in California, Massachusetts, New York, or Texas. These are our in-person communities. We will offer a relocation stipend for people who apply for one of our in-person communities and are accepted as a fellow. But we also have the Anywhere community, which is fully remote. You do not have to have an incorporated company or a defined product or revenue, and there is no limit at what career stage you're in. For more information, you can either ask a question in the chat or go to activate.org/apply. We work across 16 verticals. These are aligned with our broader mission to address climate change and other global challenges. Activate's verticals are advanced manufacturing and robotics, the built environment, carbon management, chemistry and materials, climate, computing, earth resources, electronic and connectivities, energy generation and delivery, energy storage and batteries, food and agriculture, industrial biotechnology, life science, space and aeronautics, transportation and mobility, and water. One of your project must fit within one of these verticals to be eligible. If you have any questions, again, please let us know. Okay, now we're going to talk about how to actually apply for the Activate Fellowship. First, you're going to need to decide a principal applicant and complete the pre-application. Reminder that only one of your applicants in a team of applicants is eligible. You're allowed to apply as a co-applicant or a primary applicant. You can't have two co-applicants on an application. Only the principal applicant will be receiving a living stipend, but the project will receive the development stipend as well. So you're going to follow the link to the application portal, which is on our Apply website. You're going to register an account and begin the application for the C26 Activate Fellowship Program. You're going to start by filling out the pre-application, which will then unlock all of the other application steps. Then you're going to fill out the application as you would any other application, complete the requested information, add your collaborator if desired, prepare the application materials, which we'll talk about more in depth, and then finally you're going to submit your application. Make sure all your materials are completed and click the submit button by 8 p.m. Eastern Time on October 28th. That date is important. So I'm going to walk us through the steps about how to apply to the Activate program with screenshots from our site. So first, this is the landing page of our SurveyMonkey Apply site. In the top right section, you can click Login or register. If you're a reapplicant, you probably have an SMA account already, so you can use that to reapply this year. If you're a new applicant, you're going to go ahead and click that green register button. Once you've registered or logged in, you'll see all of the available programs. The only available program right now is the C26 Fellowship. Go ahead and click into that, and you'll see the steps to apply, which we're going over right now. But if you'd like to apply, go ahead and click the green Apply button on that page. This is the applicant view on the application dashboard. You see right in the top of your screen, you have your application ID. This is important because it's going to be included in a lot of your review materials. So make sure to take note of where this lives so that you can reference it during the application. You can see here that you have the option to add a collaborator as well. We'll talk about that more in depth a little bit later. But as you can see, tasks 1 through 6 are grayed out. Only available is the pre-application form. You're going to need to submit that pre-application form before you can access tasks 1 through task 6. Then you're going to go ahead and submit all of the application materials as you would any other application. Go through task 1 through task 6. You can complete sections and save and return later. You can edit sections after they're complete. But once you click that submit button, everything is finally sent. If you are planning on applying with a co-applicant, you will have to indicate in task 1 if you are. So you'll click yes in this section, and then you'll be prompted to add a co-applicant to the SMA application. So you're going to put the collaborator email in the collaborator email section. Then in the application dashboard, you're going to click add collaborator. And then you're going to put the same email address that you would that you put in task 1 into this section. You can send a message if optional, and then you're going to send that invite. The collaborator is then going to receive an email from SMA inviting them to register an SMA account, and then they will be able to log in and complete the tasks that they need to complete. Note that the applicant, the primary applicant, will complete tasks 1 through 3 by themselves. The collaborator will complete tasks 1A, 2A, and 3A by themselves and also have a pre-application form that they need to fill out. But the collaborator and the primary applicant will complete tasks 4, 5, and 6 together because these questions are primarily about the project themselves. So you can see tasks 1A, 2A, and 3A are now apparent when I add a collaborator to the application dashboard. When everything is complete and you feel comfortable and you've reviewed everything that you want, you can go ahead and click Submit. So once everything is checked off, you will actually have the option. The Submit button will turn green. You can click that Submit button. You can either review it if you'd like to take one last look, or you can continue and submit. Once your application is submitted, it will be removed from your application dashboard, and you'll be able to check your status by logging in. And then you're going to receive an email just like the one on the right from the Activate team. This will detail next steps, important dates. It will also have some links to the activate.org/apply. And it will also have the Activate apply email address, which you can use at any time to ask our team questions. If you have any issues with the site, feel free to reach out to us on the apply@activate.org email address. We respond fairly quickly, but during selection and the application cycle, our inbox can get very full. So please have patience if we don't respond right away. You can move between tasks and complete these out of order, as I mentioned previously, but you do need to fill out all required questions on a page to save that page. The principal and co-applicants must complete their own pre-application and tasks 1A, 2A, and 3A. But again, they can both edit task 4, 5, and 6. And if you're having technical difficulties with the portal, you can fill a support request form by going to the help icon at the very top of the SMA site and filling out a technical request form that will actually be sent to the SurveyMonkey Apply team. That won't be sent directly to us. So if you have a question about any of the application materials, let us know. But if you have a technical question for SurveyMonkey Apply, then go ahead and fill that out with that. Okay, now that I've gone through how to actually submit the application, let's review some of the things that you'll be asked in the application. So co-applicants will be asked, if you're both eligible as leaders in the same project or company, then you should apply together as co-applicants. We are not super strict with co-applicant eligibility. Again, the eligibility requirements that we talked about at the very beginning, they do have to apply very strictly to the principal applicant and the project. Co-applicants, there's a bit of a gray area there. If you have a question that's specific to your application, ask us. We're happy to discuss your eligibility because we want to see your application. Again, we typically only provide the funded stipend and benefits to one individual of a co-applicant team. The default individual to be funded is the principal applicant. Co-applicants also cannot be added after the application deadline. So make sure to add all of the individuals, the one individual that you want to add to the application before the deadline. We have 5 different Activate communities. Again, I've mentioned these. We have Activate Berkeley, Houston, Boston, and New York. And we also have Anywhere, which is our fully remote community. You can apply for one of these communities, or you can rank all 5 of them. Remember, though, you are ineligible for the Anywhere community if you plan to live or are living within 70 miles of an in-person community. So if I live within 70 miles of Berkeley, I can't apply for the Anywhere community because I'm so close to Berkeley. You and your co-applicant are applying for the same communities. You're applying as a team, so you need to be together in one community. In task 4 of the application, you will be presented with this, where you can rank the communities that you choose. That you would be interested in applying to. The next page will present an option to write a justification for why you would like to visit these, why you would like to be a part of these communities. We try to honor your first choice, but specific communities receive more applicants because of their benefits. So Berkeley receives a high number of applications because of Berkeley's entrepreneur scene. Anywhere receives a high number of applications because it has the flexibility that a lot of people are looking for. So we do rebalance applications during the selection process. So if you want to have a larger chance of success for the Activate Fellowship, make sure to put as many communities as you are interested in applying to. Now, this does go to say, if you have a home and you have a mortgage and you have a family and you are established in a specific location, we are very much less likely to move you to a different location. But if you're a recent grad and you're not tied down to any specific place, you have more flexibility. We would be more interested in moving you if your first choice was anywhere to your second choice or third choice. This is important to consider when you're thinking about how you would fit into the to the Activate community. We are a fellowship that supports people, and we want to get to know you. So in task 3 of the application, you're going to be asked to write written responses to 4 questions. These will be capped at 250 words. So the first question is, what is the personal journey that led you to apply for this fellowship? We'll also ask, in what skills or areas are you looking to develop as a leader, and how do you anticipate that Activate will help you do that? The Activate Fellowship is a community that continues to grow and improve with each fellow. In what ways would you contribute to that successful community? And finally, please tell us about a time that you successfully mobilized resources not under your control. You are required to upload the first 3 documents to the application portal that are listed here to submit your application. The 4th that's listed here is an optional application step that will help our team with the review of your application, but it in no way demerits your application if you do not submit this optional step. So you're going to be asked to submit a resume. This is capped at 1 page. Please do not exceed this page. You'll be asked to submit a 3-page technical vision PDF, a 3 to 4 page technical reality slide deck, and you will have the option to submit supporting documentation if relevant. Please note your PDFs cannot exceed the specified page limits. I'll discuss this a bit more, but that's a pretty strict rule. We expect you to follow the formatting guides provided in the instructions, and you will need to include your application ID, which is found in your application dashboard, in the file name of each document. This is repeated in the application itself, so no need to remember all of this, but just making that clear now for all of you. So to prepare your resume, every applicant needs to submit a 1-page resume through task 2. If you're a co-applicant, this is task 2A. We are blinded in the initial phases of reviewing the applications, so please remove all personal information from your resumes. We know that this is a very difficult thing to do, but please just make this as easy as possible. So this includes removing all instances of your name, including photos or headshots, easily identifying information. If you wish to keep formatting, if you have your name embedded in specific references or citations, just replace that with the word applicant in all caps. So we provided an example here. And we have a template for this resume embedded within the application that you can download. I'm expecting that a lot of people will have questions about this. We understand that if we Google your patent, or if we Google your do a quick search on your citations, your name will probably pop up. We ask our reviewers not to do that for the intent to blind these applications. So it's not, we want you to include all of the information that you feel is necessary to make yourself successful in the selection process. Don't fret too much about this, but just remove the obvious things like your name and photos. Next, I want to talk about the technical vision document. This will be asked in task 6, the last section, which is a lot to do with your specific technology. So the first 2 pages of this document, you're going to describe what you want to do with your technology. This describes the vision in your ideal world. What would your technology do and what could it do? Include the new science or engineering behind the core innovation. What are you trying to do? How long will it take? What resources are needed? You're also going to be comparing your technology versus the state of the art. How is it done today and what is your new approach? Highlight measured or modeled advantages to your innovation, quantify these advantages whenever possible, and address major skepticisms of your innovation. We understand that this is also a difficult thing to do. If your technology is pretty groundbreaking and it's not super comparable to what is done today, try your best. But our reviewers are also aware that groundbreaking technology doesn't really have a precedent. You're also going to be able to address market viability here. So how will you create value in the marketplace? How much will it cost, and who will be the customers? Please address milestone and risks as well. What are your final exams to check for success in your technology? What are the technology and market risks, and how will you mitigate these risks? Finally, here at Activate, we're interested in social impact. So please let us know how your technology contributes to a better world and who will be impacted at what scale. After those 2 pages are complete, you're going to describe your technology. So in 1 page, describe your technology, the technical details of the concept you want to pursue, include all the information that will best convey your technical innovation. That can include text, diagrams, equations, photos, analysis, whatever you think will best get the concept across. Include pictures and diagrams showing the broader systems or processes in which your innovation will be used, if applicable. We understand you will have more science to prove out. We accept people at a concept stage. You can reference publications and include them in the supporting documents section. This is the primary use of the supporting documents section. As an aside, please don't submit references in the supporting documents section. This should only be to supplement your technical vision document. We're going to attach a template, like we did the resume, of the technical vision document in task 6, so you will be able to download it. But you're going to use the file name provided here, replace application ID in the header of the document and in the file name with your specific application ID, and render this document in no more than 3 pages. The last thing you're going to do is prepare your technical reality slides. So this is a short 3 to 4 slide deck with technical details describing the current status of your project. This is in contrast to the technical vision document, where there is some discussion of what you've actually done, what your technology is, but your technical vision is what you want to achieve. It's what you think you can get to at the climax of your technology. Right now, we also want to know what you've actually done. So you should not think of these slides as a VC or business plan pitch. Rather, we're looking for, this is important, concrete, detailed information on your project to complement this higher level vision. Feel free to use technical jargon and other shorthand to help you meet the slide limits if needed. While reviewers will have access to your written previous answers summarizing your project when reviewing these slides, it's best to provide explanations of graphics, photos, etc., to enable these slides to be mostly standalone. So in 1 to 2 slides, you're going to describe the technical details of your project. Present the technical details of your proposed project that convey, again, the current status of your technology. Include any information that will best convey the current status of your technical innovation, such as diagrams, equations, graphs, etc. If you have any of the following, please include relevant supporting data, pictures showing samples or the scale at which you have achieved, and foundational IP. You're also going to include 1 slide on the progress of your first product or potential business model. So describe what you have learned pertinent to your first product or products and potential business model or models to monetize your technology. If you have any of the following, please include any customer discovery, cost modeling, or technico-economic analysis. We have information in the application and on our website about technico-economics that can help you prepare for this section. And also include any relevant data to how you were differentiated between the state-of-the-art technologies currently in commercial development. And then finally, you're going to provide a 2-year work plan where you present how Activate would help you accelerate your project to success and what needs to be done during those 2 years. Again, the formatting requirements will be on the application itself, but you are going to use your application ID in this document and in the file name as well. All right, do's and don'ts. Definitely do follow all the formatting guidelines. One of the first stages of the selection process is to cut people who do not follow the formatting guidelines. This is a very simple way to check that people are paying attention, that they're dedicating time to the application, Don't think that we're not strict on these. We do like to have things in the formatting guidelines provided, primarily because we receive a lot of applications. And if you submit something that's 7 slides long, that's unfair to the selection committee members who are reviewing these applications, and it's unfair to the other applicants. Answer the questions with your personal judgment and experience. Activate is people first. We want to get to know you and your innovation. There's no one blueprint that overshadows authenticity. Finally, use the optional documentation to reinforce your application. Again, no letters of recommendation, but make sure to upload research papers, models, analyses, etc., that support what you're doing. This is not a standalone document. This is in support of your technical vision and technical reality. Definitely don't sign up for multiple applications with multiple emails. We will catch this. We have built-in steps, so don't submit more than one application, and don't invite more than one collaborator. Teams are limited to 2 people, remember, with 1 principal applicant and 1 co-applicant. All right, thank you so much for attending this webinar. You can start your application now at activate.org/apply. If you have more questions, you can review the activate.org FAQ, attend any of our other informational webinars or office hours. You can email us at apply@activate.org, and we're going to hold some space for a Q&A right now. But before I open the floor, just a reminder that applications are due Tuesday, October 28th at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and there is no deadline extension this year. All right, I'm opening up to questions. Please put them in the chat.
First question from Ashley about regarding the resume. The template says we should list our graduate advisor, but also it's mentioned not to mention any names to keep things anonymous. Can you talk about how to best handle that?
Yes, names being the names of the applicants, so your specific name. That's not going to be the name of your graduate advisor. Again, there is fuzziness. There is we admit that this is a difficult thing to blind. The name of your graduate advisor, the institution you went to, and the patents and citations that you have are important to your success as an applicant, but those things can't be fully blinded if we search them up on the internet. We have explicit instructions to our reviewers not to search them up on the internet. So take off any instances of your specific name.
Not really sure how to answer this one, Tyler, so maybe you do. What is the recommended way to show how acceptance to Activate would change the trajectory of our projects?
Yeah, so we have information on alumni who have benefited from the Activate program at the Activate website. So there will be information there about what Activate has helped do to promote their technologies and business plans. Again, there's no one answer to this question. Activate is upfront with the resources we provide. We have an extensive network of venture capital partners and technical experts who can help accelerate your technology. But it's going to be dependent on what your project is and what you are trying to develop. So if you plan on needing lab space and you think Activate will help you get in connection with people who have lab space, or if you need venture capital experience and you think that venture capital support and you think that Activate can help connect you with VC, then that could be a possible way of illustrating that. But it's just to note how you would benefit from the Activate Fellowship. And this question about the reference publications being authored by the applicants, no, they need to demonstrate the validity of your technology. If it's in your resume, it should be, you should have authored it. But if it's in support of your technology, you can reference other publications, and that's okay. Sounds cool. For customer discovery, does the data have to be collected by the applicant themselves? I would say no. I'm not entirely sure, but I believe that you can use data that already exists and compare how your product would fit into pre-existing markets. This is related to the question about market viability. So as an overall point, yes, of course, don't claim any work as yourself if you did not complete it. If you have a pilot device currently in commercial use, does that disqualify you for Activate? No, it does not, because that is the eligibility requirements specify that you need to be a first-time hard tech founder. If the device that you're currently piloting is the first thing that you've founded, then you're in the clear. And if you haven't raised more than $2 million in non-dilutive funding, you're also in the clear. So a pilot device can actually be good support for your application because it's showing the viability of your technology. Question about the lab PI as a co-applicant. It can be someone who has a minority stake. It's better for it to be your co-founder, as that will lab PIs can have messy ties to labs that if you stop working at a lab and your lab PI is part of your application, it can be difficult to disentangle your commercial product with that as you accelerate your business plan. So just keep that in mind about the future scalability of your company. Do you want specifically tied to your lab because that's what's convenient for your application right now? Of course, I don't know your situation, but or will it benefit you more in the future to not have any stakeholders who risk jeopardizing the future of your technology? But to answer your question, yes.
I would also just say here, Tyler, that a lot of times the lab PI is not going to leave their position, and this has to be a full-time opportunity for them. So there is a place in the application to list, other people working on your team, so you can list them, but you shouldn't be applying with someone unless they're going to be working on this full-time, really going on this endeavor with you, and have that technical expertise to move things forward and be a decision maker. So.
Yes, that's a great point to reiterate. I'm going through our chat right now. Is there a page limit on the supporting documentation? Thank you for bringing this up. There is. It's a one-page document. Yes, it's a one-page document. What type of subject expertise should we assume for all reviewers? Yeah, so this is a good question. You should assume that the reviewers know everything about your technology. If you are developing something in the water field, a new way of water purification, you should expect that we are going to send that application to water purification experts. Selection process is intensive. We do first an eligibility screen, which I mentioned. We then have an internal credibility screen where we're doing a baseline assessment of the validity of your technology. Does it violate the laws of thermodynamics? Is this something that is unachievable on a base level? And once our internal committee says that, yes, this is a credible technology, we will then send it to people who are experts in this niche area, who have a better technical understanding of the project than we do. They will provide their reviews, and we're going to receive more than one review for each application. So it's not just one person deciding it. And then we review those external reviews and then move forward from there. So great question. For the supporting documentation, I would not have any elaboration on the sources. Try to make them. It's more like a works cited document. So if in your technical vision document, you will be referencing publications, those referenced publications will live in the supporting document section. I've been asked to expand on references. What do I mean by references? Apologies if that was confusing. I mean personal references. So don't put like your a recommendation from your graduate advisor or former work colleague. Please do not put those in the supporting document section. References in terms of citations or things that you are referencing within the like scientific papers or something of that ilk. That is what you will be putting in the supporting document section. Another question, there is no space for a video demonstration of the proposed technical project or development. If you haven't published any papers, or there's no perfect match of literature for your technical details, that is okay. You don't have to specifically reference anything. It's just, again, to support your, it's an optional place to support your technology. If you have any conflict of interest relative to your application, please let us know in the apply inbox section. That would be a specific case. There's no way to indicate that in the application itself, but if you feel that there are specific people who would not be good reviewers for you, we can take that into consideration. Good question about the CTO and CEO with equal stake. Would the CTO make a better primary applicant? We want people who are going to benefit from the leadership development program at Activate. So along with our funding that we provide to accelerate the technology development, we're also providing business experience, and we're providing access to a network of other science entrepreneurs. If you feel that the CTO would benefit from that, or the CEO would benefit from that, you can decide. Rick, do you have anything else to add to that? It's a good point.
Sorry, I missed. What was the question? Can you remind me what the question was?
CTO versus CEO as primary applicant?
It doesn't matter. I think it's whoever can drive that technology forward, who also would really benefit from, the $100,000. So we only fund I think you said this, you only fund the primary applicant. So whoever wants to receive that funding, but both will, if you're applying together, you'll both receive all of the educational component and the networking and mentoring.
There's a question about eligibility. I'm going to ask Rick again if you can help me with this one. The question is, for a first-time entrepreneur, if the primary applicant was part of an LLC but never got commercialized, and now this primary applicant is part of a CC Corp, for the first time, does that count as eligible?
I think you'd be eligible. Yeah, if you didn't have a full experience of going to market and selling or moving on or whatever, exiting, then you should be eligible. So that sounds like you would be fine.
Another question about do we mean legal co-founder when we say co-founder? No, it's the co-applicant is a looser category. It's not bound by any legal requirements. It's someone that you want to bring into the development of this technology business. Someone's asking, when you're applying for this fellowship, should you have a approval from the lab where you'll be able to work? No, not particularly. If you want, if we ask this in the application, if you've secured a lab space already or you want lab space provided to you, this can be something that will be worked out if you are awarded the fellowship. But it can also be something that you figure out on your own. It's not inherently a demerit on your application, but it doesn't necessarily advantage you if you already have lab space. Someone's asking, does the co-applicant need to be fully available at the very start of their application? And they're specifying because PhD graduation dates can sometimes be uncertain for the first few months. This is okay. We've had fellows in the past who are committed full-time and will be committed full-time at the start of the fellowship, but they're finishing their dissertation. And it's just a month of overlap. Especially for a co-applicant who is not the primary applicant, that is fine. But remember, these eligibility requirements, if you feel that you're borderline and you might want to explain your situation more, let us know, and we'll take that into account. Um, Someone's asking for the technical vision document and technical reality slides. Should the company or self name be omitted and be referenced to as we? I wouldn't put your personal name in these documents, but you can put your company name. Again, we recognize there's fuzziness there. If you Google the company name, it could possibly be tied back to you as the applicant. But again, we're not in the business of doing that. So please, yeah, use your company name in these documents. Someone's asking about the fit of your technology into a specific vertical. Don't worry too much. If you think that your technology is a good fit for Activate as a program, there doesn't need to be a clean fit within one of the verticals, i.e. you could have something that is in chemistry and materials, but also in decarbonization or carbon management. That's fine. You will be assigned one primary vertical, but that's just for reporting purposes, for brand purposes. Your actual project does not, it can overlap into different areas, and you'll be asked to specify a kind of hyper-specific technical areas within the application itself. Someone's asking about being in the US. You do need to be in the US for the duration of the fellowship. You cannot be in any other country. Someone is asking if they should indicate New York for all 5 locations. If you are interested in New York and only New York, put it as your first community and not in any of the other community spaces. Someone's asking if it is okay not to have formed the company yet. Yes, it is absolutely okay. We accept people in various stages. Recruitment team, correct me if I'm incorrect here, but someone's asking if they can still show up for office hours if they haven't started the application. I believe so. It's important to get questions and clarification there. I'm getting the A-OK from them, so yes. Yes, someone is asking as a founder in the agricultural space who needs to navigate EPA pathways, can Activate provide guidance? Absolutely. That's what we're here for. We're here to help you navigate these things. Someone is asking, does the program offer access to regulatory experts? Yes, we will connect you with the right people in these regulatory spaces to help your technology succeed in commercialization. Someone is asking about considering the pros and cons of anywhere versus relocating. They're asking if I can give some information about the perks of relocating. In the anywhere case, this person is saying that the founder has already secured lab space and working space and already has access to unique tools at a university at their home location. This is great. in showing that you are already taking the steps to pivoting full-time to your project. So applying for anywhere would be a good fit here, especially in the fact that you've secured space, you are rooted in a specific location that will provide the support that you need. So that is something to consider, and that is something that our selection committee will also take into account if talking about relocating you to your second or third community choice. The only reason I say that you should provide all of the communities that you would be interested or possibly okay with moving to is because it allows a better chance of success when you're more flexible in that space. However, there's individual variation. Some communities have the resources to support specific projects better than others. I don't believe this is true for this upcoming year, but in the past years, New York has been more situated to address people working in decarbonization. That Houston has a lot of fellows who are working in the water space. So there's specific resources that are available at specific locations that may benefit you if your project is based in a specific technical area, which is also something to consider. But if you already have lab space, that's good, and we're not going to tear you away from something you've already built. Another kind of related question. Someone is asking if they can apply to New York, even though their technology is not climate oriented, but we are physically located near New York. Of course, yes. We want to see a diversity of applicants. You are eligible if your company is already selling products, but not at full or pilot scales. Not at full or pilot scales. If you're selling products below full scale, then you are eligible, yes. Co-applicants are neither a demerit nor a benefit to your application. It is only if you think that this person will be helpful to your application. Someone's asking about in the 3-page technical slides, if you're unsure of your regulatory path and market size, how do you navigate this? Address that uncertainty. Just provide as much context as you foresee, just to show that this is also to show that you have thought critically about your application and that you are aware of some of the challenges that you can foresee with your technology. We understand that you're not going to be at 100%. That's what we're here for. We're here to get you that extra step. Someone is asking about needing multiple spaces. If you've secured one in the Boston area and the other in the Denver area, would that limit you to the Boston community? When we say that you are located within 70 miles of one of the in-person communities, we mean your residence where you live and work and perhaps have a family. If you have space, meaning office space or lab space in a specific proximity to a community, Rick, I don't think that that is going to limit you to a specific community.
Sorry, I was writing again. What was the question?
You're totally fine. This person is asking, they have lab space or office space in the Boston area, but they're not indicating that they live within the 70-mile radius. That does not limit them to the Boston area, I don't think.
I don't think so. Let's see your home residence, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a question here about applying to other incubator accelerator programs. I can't remember, Tyler, do you know? I know that there's a place in the application to note which other programs you're applying to, so I think you should put that there. I think some are okay and some are not, but I'm not really sure if that's still the rule. I can't remember what, if you have more detail on that.
I do not have a specific list of incubators, accelerators that you are not allowed to co-participate in. This kind of falls under the umbrella of you need to be committed full-time to the project, but there are certain accelerators that work with Activate and that you can co-work with. This is just indicate that in your application. If you've applied to if you've applied to one and you have not already gotten in, that's not going to negatively affect your application. You can apply to as many incubators as you'd like. It's just when accepting the fellowship, you need to accept that full-time commitment to Activate as an organization. And if you are accepted into another fellowship while you're accepted into the Activate fellowship, and you'd like to do both, or there's a possibility of doing both, that's an edge case, and that can be talked about in specificity with your community. Someone's asking about intellectual property and how Activate protects the intellectual property of the applications that are provided. It's a great question. It's a reasonable concern. We do have our reviewers acknowledge and have to be legally bound to not reproducing the information that's in the application for their own commercial benefit. So that is something that that Activate is strongly in for protecting.
I don't know if we answered this one, but there's a question about defense technology and projects. I don't know if you have a good answer on this, Tyler, but I believe even though I don't think defense is part of our verticals, we do often have technology that supports a lot of defense projects. We're always talking to a lot of DoD offices and agencies. We used to have a good relationship with DARPA, but I think that's why you saw that in Boston. That they helped us start the Boston office years ago. I think that partnership is gone now, but we have a lot of connections and things like that. So I think if you have a connection to that industry and your technology will have that dual use purpose, then I think you should just note it in your in your data and in your kind of anywhere you feel like might benefit to show that you're looking at that your technology can have an impact in different industries across the whole country, and that's totally fine.
Someone is asking, I just answered it, but there's a specific place within the application itself that will indicate if you've secured lab space. It's not something that you have to remember, but we will ask it specifically. And a note on the DoD question. We do not typically advance projects that have only a specific application to the Department of Defense or used in the military. But if they have a broader purpose that can be funded by the DoD, that is more likely, yes. Someone is asking how much information that they will need to submit about your collaborator. It will be just as much as you're submitting about yourself. So task 1 is your residency status, if you're a US citizen, identifying information, your name, where you live. All of this stuff will also be asked the co-applicant. The co-applicant will ask to be submitted a resume as well. And the co-applicant will also have to be asked those 4 short answer 250-word questions in task 3. If you have a lab space in interest, but you haven't signed any contract, I would say that that doesn't count as indicating you have lab space secured. The question is, have you secured lab space? And if you haven't legally or officially achieved lab space, then no, you have not. Yes, for the blinded resume, you are allowed to mention the schools you attended and the institutions you've worked. No, not your name and no headshots. That's pretty much all that needs to be blinded. Yes, the patents and intellectual property can be held by your collaborator. This is something that will also you'll be able to indicate in the application itself. If you've secured lab space after submitting the application, there is a way to indicate that. If you have moved on to video interview, which is going to be early 2026, You will be asked to submit more information through the SMA portal. This is one of the questions you'll be asked if you have any update to your lab space. Someone is asking if you have had positive interest and feedback from NASA and DARPA. You can indicate that in your anticipated market viability. If you have potential sponsors that are interested, that's something that you should definitely indicate. And that would be within the technical documents in task 6. Someone is asking again about in the 3-page technical slide, if you're unsure about the regulatory path and market size, how you navigate this in your application. If you have a specific question relevant to your technology, please come to office hours and discuss that. I don't have a specific answer to that. The information has been displayed in multiple ways by multiple applicants. So I think that this is something that is specific to your application, which you'll probably need to share with our team there. Someone is asking if you'll be able to submit letters of support. Again, you will be asked to provide references in the video interview and finalist stage, not in the application stage. They're not letters of support, but you will be asked to submit people who would be confident in providing a recommendation to you. Someone is asking about their specific time frame for scaling the technology. Indicate that in the technical vision document, where you'll be asked to talk about the anticipated full impact of your technology, full realization of your technology. But this is going to be different from the 2-year plan, which is how Activate will support you during the duration of the fellowship. So you can talk about both of those at different scales. Another question about the publications in the resume, having a full citation that has your name, or is it better to omit all names in the citation? If your name is John Smith and the publication is John Smith and Sarah Jane, you can put applicant for your name and include Sarah Jane as well. So just omit your name. You don't have to admit all the names.
All right, I think we're at time, so I don't know how much more we want to stay on or whatever you want to do. But if we didn't get to your question, you can always send us an email at apply@activate.org, and we're happy to respond as well. But if you want to close out, I'm happy to do that. Just to be aware of time.
Yes. Well, I appreciate again everyone coming here and asking meaningful questions. If you have any other questions, please just email us at apply@activate.org. Come to our office hours. We're more than happy to talk. I hope we've provided some clarity here today. Thank you all.